Did you know Dump City likes to play a round of shall we test the sensors every now and then? Don't know about that. Brento here, welcome to another episode of Dump City. This is how I clear harvest nodes. You spawn them and then you smash them with a big axe like this. There you go. And then you don't get any reagents, which is what we need for the show. Anyways, I did it here. Level 95, solo self found. Reached the season goal. Yeah, this is hands down the best character I've ever built. It's easily capable of clearing tier 16 maps. To level further though, I'm gonna need a better axe or a better weapon. See this here? I looked at all the top players. This is maybe 2/3 as good of a weapon. So in this episode, we'll hopefully improve that. We're gonna talk about end game crafting methods, not just how to make axes. You can, like, obviously if you're watching this video, you're gonna be crafting a bow or a staff or whatever armor you're using. I'm going to talk about how capitalism will destroy most YouTube careers. Some example crafts. Okay, I'll try to create the perfect weapon. We'll see what I get. Maybe I'll have bad luck. And then finally I'm going to do the Hall of Grandmasters map. This is a very, very difficult map and it's very interesting, and I'll explain to you why it is interesting. If you play Path of Exile and you're not a noob and you're watching this series, this might be the highlight of the show. So let's go over the actual item of the week. And originally I had an item of the week that was going to be really good here, but it ended up being crap. So first I'll go over the runner-up. It was this runecraft of the jeweler. That's pretty cool. And it almost makes me want to have unlinked sockets on my weapon. Just 60% extra damage. And the actual original item of the week was going to be this Vivinsect ring. Okay. Until I realized that it has a 20% reduced reservation efficiency. So I thought at first that reduced the reservation, but it reduces the reservation efficiency, which is inverted, meaning it makes it more expensive to reserve the gem in there. So I decided, you know what, that's not going to be the item of the week. The item of the week is probably going to be something we craft today. Okay, but before we get into some of the more advanced crafting topics, let's do more tips for noobs. So this is the 15th episode, so be sure to cue the entire Path of Exile for Noobs playlist if anything in this episode seems too advanced. That's your first tip. If you're watching this, you're becoming less of a noob, and if you jumped in now as a noob, you're going to be like, hey, I thought this was a noobs video. But this is the 15th episode in a noob series, so by now you're going to be less of a noob. Next tip is these, if you have some orbs of binding. Every season I get a bunch of these, and I just waste them. These are really great. So let's say you find a good base item here, like this hat here. Okay, notice it doesn't have the 4 sockets. You always want to have 4 sockets in a hat. So what you should do is always scour it first, because this has crap rolls, right? And then use your orb of binding on it like this. Then you get all your sockets, all your links. You're saving jeweler's orbs. You're saving orbs of fusing. You're saving an alchemy orb or a chaos orb. These you won't have any other use for. So whenever you get a new item, always put an orb of binding on it. Just don't forget about that. Another tip is if you have, let's say you have some essences you can't use, like this here. For me, I don't use any, I have no energy shield. This is completely useless to me. You can go to the vendor, right, and sell. I can take a stack of these essences. Watch this. Okay, I put these all in here. Okay, see, these are the 3 stacks I just added. Every 3 upgrades, as you know. So you upgrade them all like this, right? And then I have all these higher tier ones. Okay, now I'll upgrade them further. So if you have essences that are of no use and you're like, oh, I keep getting these crappy ones, there's this recipe at the order crafting station. Just search for it here, essence. So every essence you put in here, no matter whether it's a shrieking, a deafening, or whatever, it's going to be exactly 30 of the blue crystal force here. And it will change it to something more useful. Watch this. Okay, that's not terribly useful, but it's better than what I had. Okay, I can sometimes use this one. Okay, same here. And the reason I combine them is because if you do this with 12 of the lower tier ones, you got to spend 30 per anyway, so you'd be spending 360. So yeah, use this recipe at the Horta crafting station. That's another tip. I just learned that this season. I didn't know about this. And yeah, okay, that's one of my best crafting essences I could get there. Adds extra life. There you go. That's a tip for noobs there. Next tip, when you're farming crafting materials, always be sure to, and this is similar to previous tips in that if you're going to do harvest, let's say you're gathering all those ingredients like I showed you at the start of the show, put your atlas points into it, okay? See, I got nothing when I killed those monsters. I was supposed to get a bunch of bonuses, but it's RNG. Sometimes the show doesn't go exactly as planned. I was hoping to get a big stack of these life forces, but put points in harvest is your final tip. Yeah, that's more tips for noobs. But before we get into this episode here on crafting, make sure that you understand when you go to your workbench to do these crafts, check how many undiscovered recipes you have. I'm still missing this suffixes cannot be changed recipe, but I can still probably do everything I need without it in this particular episode. But if you're missing suffixes can't be changed, prefixes can't be changed, or you can't do 3 crafted modifiers, continue to farm your unique maps and get these all unlocked, because it's hard to do some of the advanced crafting without these recipes. Again, I know a lot of people, I've seen a lot of videos on this and they just say, well, just grab this. I'm like, when I was a noob watching these videos, I was like, what do you mean? How do I even get this recipe? It's in your unique maps. And this one that I'm missing here is, if we go into it, it's this map here. You can see I have almost every map, but this one here I'm missing. And it even says the recipe that it has there. But I got a lot of other ones, right? Like this one here. I got my, I believe prefixes cannot be changed is somewhere around here. I believe this one was it, okay? So I found that one recently. That's what the unique maps are for. And I mentioned before too, if you like, I have this now, underground sea here. And this, if I can do a bunch of underground seas, it improves the odds of getting this map. So I'll hunt for this one. I'll probably have it by next episode. That's the first, basic tip 1, crafting. Next thing is, remember this? Did I mention it's also a gambling app? Let me show you why. So by now you should have an idea of the best item bases for your class. So, if you're using bows, you should probably know what the best bow is. Okay, I'm a marauder, so I'm using axes. And I kind of know what the best axes are at this point. Right now I have a Karui chopper and a Val axe. These are kind of like the 2 to pick from for me. So either one of these will act as sort of candidates for my best base. Okay, so the first thing you want to do whenever you're crafting a super weapon is you got to go into Path of Exile. The game doesn't have enough tools to show you all the details of what you need to know to actually do this. So that's one of the basics here. You'll also notice too the probabilities of each prefix here. This is why it's a gambling app. Because if I was to throw a Chaos Orb or an Exalted Orb or pretty much anything that randomizes these stats, it shows me the likelihood of getting things. Like this +1 is socketed gems. Okay, this one here can go up to +2 to melee socketed. Okay, but it's only a 2% chance that happens. So if you ever get some of these really good, really rare ones, and then you're like, hey, should I throw an Exalted Orb on it? But you don't have any of these high probable ones. This is where you can kind of learn, oh, maybe I shouldn't do that because I am probably going to get the odds are I'm going to get, like, I can't use added cold, fire, or lightning damage on this weapon. To me, this would be, it wouldn't be bricked, but it would be a wasted slot. I'd rather not have these roll, even though they're the most probable things that could roll. Use Path of Exile as a tool in order to assess probabilities, is what I'm saying. The next thing we'll talk about here is another thing. I never knew about this until this season. I started doing some research for this episode, frankly. When looking for items, you want to be mindful of things that have 3 good prefixes and 3 good affixes. those recipes I showed you, they tie into all this. So when you hold Alt over to an item here, assess whether you have 3 of any of them, okay? See this one here? This has 1 good prefix and 1 good affix. Everything else is crap. So you'd never say, craft it so that it can't be changed. This one's not any use. It's not worth investing. And just so we're clear here, when you use one of these recipes here, cannot be changed, these cost divine orbs. This is the most expensive thing you're going to do, okay? You're going to take your whole net worth and you're running for president, okay? You're basically going to lose it all or win it all at this point. This is why I made this episode, because I think a lot of players, if you're getting into like level 90, into the 90s, and you're like, oh, I'm kind of stuck, I need a better weapon, I need a better helmet or ring or whatever, you got to start spending your crafting resources to make extremely good gear. So yeah, you saw how in Path of Exile here, I don't want these cold, fire, or lightning damages. So I'm going to show you something that was kind of neat that I did between episodes, is make this axe here. Make sure my big head's not in the way. This Karuya chopper actually was made in the King's March recombinator out of 2 axes. And each one of them had at least 100, one of them I think had 145 increased physical damage, the other had 152. One of them had 27 increased attack speed, the other had a good amount of base physical damage. Of the rolls I was looking for, 2 different axes had 2 out of the 3, and I thought if I combine them, maybe I'll get 3 out of 3, okay? Because from what I understand from the recombinator, it won't re-roll the values on them. It will just randomly take from each item the actual current roll and combine them into one. Luckily, it didn't erase the useless rolls. It gave me 2 out of 3. And I can use this because I can craft on 3 crafted modifiers on this and give myself the missing roll to make this my perfect weapon. So this is sort of my backup weapon. But a little trick I learned about blocking, and that's the name of this chapter, right, is craft blocking. When I combined these, each axe had a space for a benchcraft, and each benchcraft slot I put on lightning and cold, the lowest tier on each axe, then I recombine them. And the reason for that is the recombinator will not include these crafted modifiers. If I put a low tier craft of a high probability roll of something I do not want, which is these, right? Then when I recombine it, they cannot appear on it. Like they're going to be blocked out. Okay, so that leaves openings. Then it will only recombine the stats I want, which it did get 2 out of 3. Okay, it missed one of them when I made this axe. So that's a little bit of a trick. I also learned that using the harvest crafting technique, the opposite behavior happens. So let's say I put a tier 1 fire damage here, okay? And then I go to this bench here and use this recipe here, more likely to receive the same modifiers. It will include what I just crafted on it. So I'm able to sort of trick the system a little bit by bringing in things and then improving the odds in combination with it. Like there is no easy mode, get a perfect weapon in this game. You have to play the numbers and gamble a little bit. Okay, that's just, this video wouldn't exist if it was so easy to do. So I'm sort of breaking that down for you. Okay, and also when you do this method, unlike the recombination, when you use the more likely recipe here, it actually just completely randomizes tiers and the rolls on it, but it makes them of the same type. So this one here has 9% increased attack speed. If I put it in there, it will re-roll with attack speed, and it could be 27 attack speed. And in fact, let's just do that right now. I want to show you a little bit about, this is one of the things, this is one of the main features of horticrafting, as they call it. I want to add some physical damage over time. There we go. I'm going with the cheapest one, right? Because it doesn't matter what tier it is. This actually already has 3 good rolls. but I want 4 good rolls. I'm going to be greedy with this one. We could get our perfect weapon right here if we're lucky, right? So I will add the cheapest. Oh, that's not the right one. Not cold damage over time, physical damage over time. Okay, so this is the one I want to roll, and then maybe it will upgrade once I roll more likely. So let's go with that, craft that, and we'll go over to the crafting station here, and we'll go more likely, and we'll see if we get a better version of this. Oh, it took away one of our good rolls. We did get a big upgrade in our attack speed, though. It improved one, made one worse, and it removed 2. It's a roll of dice, right? I can't really work with this item anymore. It's too crappy at this point. Okay, so that's one of the main things you do with harvest crafting. Another actual useful set of recipes are these reforged ones. Okay, so you might have been using these already, and these are kind of the highlights of it. Let's go with physical on this one. Nope, that sucks. That sucks. And this is what you do. You just keep doing this. Okay, so this has 2 mods, but not good enough for me to re-roll. Let's say I got 3 or 4. I would then go with more likely. Okay, I could also go with attack here. Let's even get an attack modifier on it, right? It's not a. I shouldn't use too many of these red ones, but that one's not too bad. But that's the point of it. These are the highlights of harvest crafting, and the reason I'm pointing this out is because you see all these other recipes you got here, these pages of recipes on different tabs and stuff here. I've played for 3 seasons, and I've only I'll say 98% of the time are these recipes here. Reforge more likely, these ones at the top of Reforge, and the essence conversion recipe. If this is your first, second, or third season, I wouldn't waste much time studying the other things because they're very, very specific. Odds are you're not going to have any use for them. You'll just be overwhelmed with them. You know, when you see a list of 100 things to pick from, but there's only 7 useful ones, that's something you should know, right? Because you're going to waste your time. That's harvest crafting. Now let's go a little bit into essence crafting. Before I craft my perfect weapon, I want to cover a few things about how these things work. Okay, so this one here will add physical damage to it. But when you do an essence craft, it puts it in the same, as you know, these affix IDs are exclusive. So if I roll physical damage in the base here, affix ID 2, and then I go down here and try to craft on more physical damage, it won't let me, okay? Because you can only have 1 per, that's what these IDs do, okay? And they're per affix per, like these, I can have this 2 and this 2, just so we're really clear. That's sort of the logic behind it, okay? So you gotta kind of know, have in mind your top 3, 4, or 5 preferred affix categories before you do this. That's probably the, do a bit of research. So this can roll in slot 9, but I can also craft it on, and it will use, if I use essence crafting, it also uses slot 9. Likewise, if I do increased attack speed, that's slot 1 as a suffix, and it will replace, slot 1 here. Okay, so I can have both. However, if you have 1 of each, you can actually put 1 in both positions, a suffix and a prefix, right? So one of the strategies is when crafting a perfect weapon is to use an essence on the top and bottom half of it. So you craft, you try to get the perfect set of prefixes, then you say prefixes can't be changed, then you spam on the essence on the suffixes, maybe add an exalted orb here or there, and then you remove that bench craft and then put something else in, and this is how you're guaranteed 2 essence rolls on the same item. Also keep in mind too, when you're doing this, it is theoretically possible for me to have eye level 86 rolls, but right now the weapons I'm using aren't eye level 86. If you need some of these, always double check that the item level that you're rolling for can in fact get, like if you wanted the tier 1 roll of this elemental damage, for example, you need an item level 86. To me, this is actually a useless roll, so I can use basically 83 is what I'm looking for. So with your item in Path of Exile, always double check uh, if you can even get the good rolls on it, and also be realistic on the probabilities of it. Like some of these are very low probability, and do the math. If you've got 5 essences and you're going to get a good essence craft, but the secondary rolls with it are unpredictable, don't expect it to give you good stuff all the time. It's actually improbable that it will. Okay. You got to be not too picky unless you have literally hundreds of these essences. That's the way you do essence crafting. You can mix the two. You can do some, do some reforging, do an essence, lock a prefix, or maybe I'll just can have 3 crafted modifiers on this. If I don't get a good set of 3 prefixes or suffixes, that's what I'm going to do. I only have finite resources. A few more tips for when you're crafting your perfect item. You'll notice too, you sometimes come across these fractured items. Okay, these are really good, even if they're not the max tier, because if you get tier 2 and tier 3 rolls, that's pretty good too. So if you get a really good fracture like this one here, don't throw it out. This makes it even more deterministic. It's better to have 3 or 4 ideal affixes that are tier 2 or 3 than 1 tier 1 and everything else tier 5 or 6. A lot of tier 2s and 3s are going to be really good. And of course, if you come across memory strands on items at the higher tiers, that will make it so it's, I mentioned this last episode, when you do some randomization, it kind of ensures that the roll will be a very high tier. So the ideal base item would be a high eye level with the right amount of link sockets, with memory strands and a good fracture on it. That's your ideal starting situation. Then you combine essences and reforges. Prefixes, suffixes cannot be changed methodology. That's how you make your perfect items. That's how the pros do it. Okay. As well too, once you do all that, don't forget about the other crafting layers of these here. Your eldritches, you can have 1 of each. So I could, this one here has, that's what the +5 chance to block is, and the +1 maximum cold resistance. It's one of the blue ones and one of the red ones here. And as mentioned too, see this here, I don't have an eldritch orb on this one. It just has, like rings have, actually you can't use eldritch orbs on rings, sorry. But gear that has an implicit like this, like Astral Plate does here, if I were to put one of these eldritch orbs on it, it would actually erase it. So that was something I wondered until, will I lose it if I put an eldritch orb? Yeah, you will. So that's one of the negative things of these, boots, gloves, body armor, and helmet. Any kind of implicit that comes with it isn't too useful once you use these. It kind of overrides them. And then finally, let's talk about catalysts. Okay, this is another thing I actually misunderstood how these work until this season. I thought these were kind of like you put these on items and then you spam them with chaos and then it would affect the likelihood you'd get a roll. No, they don't do that at all. There's something you actually apply as one of the last layers to your rings, amulet, and belt. Okay, all your jewelry. What they do is they multiply any kind of present roll by a percent, and you can have up to 20 of them on an item. Okay, so these you only put 1 on each. It's just you spam 1, you spam another, or it just replaces what you got in the implicit. Here they'll keep stacking up to 20, but you can only have 1 type. So if I put 20 imbued or 19 imbued catalysts and I try to add an intrinsic catalyst, it will erase the 19 imbued ones and it will have a stack of 1 intrinsic catalyst. So here on my belt, here's an example. I showed this in a previous episode. I have 6 of them on it, and it affects the implicits as well. That's another thing I didn't know. So this is kind of like your last stage of creating the uber items. And this one here affects life and mana modifiers. So there's actually 3 on here. There's the implicit. Here, I'll show you what the normal numbers are, right? See, this actually only has 67 life, and but if you look at it, it shows 71 life because of the modifier. Same with the life regen. Life regen is affected by this as well. So this is affecting my base 40 roll of life, my 67 base maximum life, and my 123 life per second, and they're all just a little bit better. If I find more of these catalysts, I'll make this belt better, but I haven't invested too much in it because I still think I'm going to find a mage blood at some point. Yeah, so that's basically all the tools you need to know to make great gear. Okay, there are other things out there. I don't want to go into them because I think this is probably overwhelming as it is. This is for the really astute players who want to push into the high levels, get into level 95 solo self-found, and that's who this video is for. Okay, if you want to go beyond that, maybe I'll do it in a later episode, but I think that's good for now for an advanced crafting video. So anyways, let's have a word from our sponsor, and that is, of course, Dump City. Okay, so I want to talk about how capitalism. Here, let's move into the base here. Let's talk here. Stand by Commander Kirek. So this is how capitalism will destroy most YouTube careers. This is my theory of what's going to happen. As you know, I am an inventor with a software engineering degree, and I have not had a paycheck given to me in over a decade. This is because capitalists don't need us anymore. Okay? They just wait until they can steal something and market it as their own, and voila, none of us existed. Likewise, have you seen any of the AI generated videos lately? Frankly, some of them are pretty good. Okay, I watched one for 5-10 minutes the other day, and then I realized this is an AI video. I didn't even notice it. It was so good. Now, maybe some of them could use a human editor to make final cuts. I still think humans can still kind of pick them out, but with a little bit of editing, you just take out the AI part, right? The obvious mistakes it makes. The voice and the pronunciations are kind of your clue. It doesn't have, it says the names of cities. It mispronounces lesser known cities, for example, and you'll be like, oh, clearly the robot didn't do its due diligence, okay? But it was still, I think many of these videos are very professional and capable of drawing 100,000 views easily. I think these videos could be made reliably and with a lot less effort than most content creators put into making these videos. In fact, with a bit of coaching, I have some great ideas for movies. Spoiler, it involves Nibiru. So if you're if you know anything about AI generated videos and you want to I have some ideas for a Nibiru based AI generated film series. So if you're watching this, comment below. Absolutely. But here's a question. Should YouTube discriminate against AI robots when giving video impression recommendations? Should it hide what robots can create from the public is the question. I say no. Nope. I want to see, as a consumer, I want to see the best product I can. If I want to be entertained on the web, let's say I want to learn about something about, polar bears or something, and I want to see a story of a polar bear setting up a Coca-Cola and a Klondike factory to, make some money and to sell to people so it can sustain itself. I want to watch that. I know that can't be done. You would never be able to get the bear to act properly. I'm okay with AI doing that. If it's the best content on the web, even if AI makes it, show it. This is another topic. I actually have a video on this called UBI, Y-O-U-B-I. At some point, this has to happen. We're all getting replaced by machines. I've been replaced by a machine for over a decade. And if you're watching this and you have a fake job, soon enough, you're going to be replaced. It really is inevitable. Just because it hasn't happened to you, think about how a machine could do your job. It's going to do your job. And if you don't like it, too bad, because the rest of us want your job done as cheaply as possible. So we have to spend the least amount of money. Deflation is a very good thing for an economy. The only people who say the opposite are the investor class, which, they kind of steal from us a little bit. But absolutely, I think no discrimination against AI. That's not to say it should be promoted any better. I wouldn't favor the AI. I wouldn't say, hey, this is an AI video. Treat it like like it was made by a content creator and see how it does. Give it the same. If it's using like gimmicky tricks, maybe, same applies for any content creator who's using a gimmick to get seen. You shouldn't use gimmicks. Do research, make useful content, present it in a good articulated story, and that's it. That's what YouTube should be. And yeah, if AI does it, so be it. If we're all replaced by robots, I'm fine with that, right? As long as I'm getting money somehow via UBI. Anyways, let's get to axe crafting. It's time to waste all my resources and see if I can make a better axe than this one here. Okay, so I might even do a recombination. Let's craft some axes here. I'm going to start with these two axes. We're going to have some essences ready to go. We definitely will not craft a lore weave out of 60 unique rings. That would be insane. This is a real example. How are we going to do this? This item here, it has attack speed and physical damage. I'm looking for attack speed, physical damage, and increased physical damage. And there's other things that would be nice to go with it, but those are the 3 core items. I can't use an item without. This one has 2. No, actually, this does have all 3 of them. So let's do a reforge more likely. Let's see if we can get, maybe it'll get it right here. 1 roll, let's see. We have limited resources of the red stuff, so I actually don't mind the dex roll either. Let's see what we get. I'm tempted to keep this one for the suffixes. But I have nowhere to... I don't want to use an orb of annulment. I'm just going to craft again. Here we go. Like, the main thing is the increased physical damage. I think we'll do 1 more. No, I'm not going to waste more on that one. I think we're going to just spam some... Let's go with next. How about some physical modifiers? We want to get some nice high physical rolls. Again, I can always add... See, one of the things too is these essences can actually give you a higher tier roll than what a tier 1 can roll. The highest I believe this can roll is 27% attack speed, but this essence, if I add it afterwards, you can go even higher. So let's see if we can get something better here. Ooh. Everything else about that's trash. I don't care about that stat that much. I'm just going to trash it. That would have been nice with some other good rolls. That's crap. Okay, there's a good roll. Yeah, we have a prefix slot here. So we'll go in on this one here. And we'll go and craft some physical damage. We'll go with the lowest tier because it doesn't matter. And then we'll go in and we'll reforge more likely. We only have, this is our last reforge more likely. After that, we have to deal with what we get. We have limited resources. Oh, just trashed it. Oh well, let's go with let's go some more physical rolls here. I'm just going to keep using these up. Come on. Something good, something good. I'm going to go bankrupt here. Here we go. And again, our backup is to use that Krui axe. It's good enough. I can work with that one. That will still be my perfect weapon. And this is how you do it. You're just gambling. It's a gambling app, right? Okay, this one, I'm not rolling anymore. That's pretty good. This one here, I'm going to roll this one. This one's not good enough. Just gambling, right? These are not... I was getting better rolls earlier. This is just not the best of rolls. I don't want to use all, like 100% of this because I do have other things to craft too. Keep that in mind. Don't spend all your resources on just the weapon, but you should spend a lot on the weapon. This is unreal. The best I've seen is a single tier 3. The odds, that's actually below odds, I believe. I think it's supposed to be a 2% chance, and I've rolled this like 100 times now. I think, at least in my mind, I have. I think I'm going to, you know, we're not getting good rolls there. Let's try, that's what this is for here. I wish I could use this on a fractured item. These are very hard to, I'm reluctant to use an essence on a non-fractured item. For that reason, I think I'm going to save my essences and I'm going to do some chaos spam here. Let's see what we get. Like, this shouldn't get me as good of a roll in theory, but chaos orbs are technically cheaper than the other things. You want to be really picky when you're rolling your weapon. This is your most important item, I think, for all classes, even if you're a caster class. Okay, let's give this one a try. I'm going to try recombinating this one. So I want to put some blockers on it first to make sure it doesn't roll a really bad, like I don't want it to roll cast speed or something like that. That would be a really bad roll. A lot of these other ones aren't so bad. Actually, what I should do here is go into Path of Exile and see what the most likely ones I can roll on a Val Axe. The ones I don't want critical strike, and I don't want a global strike multiplier, and that has the 5% chance. So let's put the let's block this high probability roll because I don't want that one for this item. I cannot crit, and we'll put a blocker on that. So I'll craft that. I'll mix that with this one here. What else? What do we want to block here? I think lightning damage. It's a high probability roll. So let's block that one. A very cheap version of it. So let's go with that. Let's go to the recombinator. I will do the sockets later. This episode's taking longer than I thought. I thought I would have better luck sooner. Just nothing but garbage rolls in our gambling app. There we go. We'll combine these. So what we're hoping to see here is get some of these physical. These are tier 4 and 5s, but they're the ideal rolls. The combined effect is it has a lot of physical damage on both of them. And this one has, I want to get the 27 increase attack speed on this one here. And let's see what we get. Did we get anything useful? Oh my god. Nope, this is worse. This is worse. We lost. This just can't be used. Oh well. Let's try an essence spam here. Let's see what we get. Let's do one, because I got to use up some of these. Let's just see what we can get. No. No. I'm not going to spend more essences on that. I'm actually looking for a fractured one. I think we're going to have to stick with our Kuroi axe here. This is not a good axe at all. So let's do that. Let's put 3 crafted modifiers on here. And this will be our perfect weapon, and I'll use this for the next level. And I still have some resources to find, maybe a fractured base. But what I'm going to do here is ultimately, we're going to do 3 crafted modifiers. This is another recipe. It's a suffix recipe, as you can see here. This will allow me to put on the extra physical damage in the prefix and something else. Okay, I might actually test a bleed build with this as well. Let's try this out. This will be the new perfect weapon. Here we go. Spent 2 divines. So this one here, 4 chaos. It's not too much money, so we'll put that on. And just so you know, I did this with my body armor. I put 3 crafted modifiers. I accidentally put increased evasion and energy shield on it and realized, uh-oh, I clicked the wrong one. So I thought, well, I'll just overwrite it. When you do 3 crafted modifiers, you can't scour any of the additional modifiers. So what I put on here is permanent, okay? Or at least I have to I have to scour it off and spend 2 divines to start this process again. When you scour all 3 of the crafted modifiers. So something I wish I would have been maybe a little bit more careful when doing it. But you can't scour one at a time when you use this recipe. So we'll add this here. Increased chance to bleed. And some extra physical damage here. See how this compares with our current weapon. This won't actually be... I think it'll be a similar amount of DPS, but it will have a lot of dot damage. So I'll try it out for a level 2 at least. So we'll craft that on. What do we got here? 632. Actually, it's a little less damage, but high dot damage, and I'm going to combine this with damage over time. So we'll put this here. So this will put a bleed on and a very, very significant bleed on. So a different play style. We'll see how it works. This will be my new perfect weapon. I think it's a good combo of crafts. And later, maybe I'll find a better... If you have a fractured item, you should be using the fractured item. I wish I would have rolled better, but it is what it is. And what do we get here? Okay, we got the maxed roll for damage over time, so we'll see how that does. This is my new perfect weapon. Not the greatest, but that's not bad either. We'll see how it works. But I don't have time to actually set up the sockets for this episode. That'll be for between episodes. We got to get into actually fighting a boss here. We're going to do the Hall of Grandmasters. This is something that I've never been able to finish, and I don't think anyone else ever really finishes it. Item of the week this week is going to be this Karui axe. Lots of dot damage. Okay, there you go. Exciting item of the week. And we're going to do a map here, which I should have set aside. There it is. Okay, so this is a super unique map, this Hall of Grandmasters. It was created in 2015 when Grinding Gear Games offered a Grandmasters pack which let players take snapshots of their character and put them in the actual map. They contributed to the development of the game, and their character is in the game. So I think that's a really cool idea. Maybe they'll do another in the future. From what I understand, this is one of the rippiest maps in the game. It is pretty much a certain death in hardcore. And yeah, don't do this in hardcore. And if you're going to do it in regular or solo self-found, do it at the start of a level like I am here. Because so what if I lose a little bit of XP? At least we get to see a cool map. I don't know if there's really much benefit to doing it, but I just think it's cool that people got to create a character, put it in the game, and then you can play against them in the future. And that's really neat. But before we do that, of course, we have to do something even more important, because a lot of the people that uploaded their characters, they have mage bloods, and that's unfair. If you got better gear, that gives you advantages. And the best way to not have a disadvantage against other players I'm about to fight against is to have a mage blood or headhunter. And no, that didn't happen. That never happens. I think the odds are like 1 in a million or something. But for the amount of times I've tried this, it should have happened, well, maybe 1 in 1,000 at this point. Okay, let's go with this Hall of Grandmasters. This is only a tier 13 map. I've never finished this map. I'm certain to die. And let's see, maybe Elon will have good enough character here to be put in a future Hall of Grandmasters if they ever add this mechanic again. So let's see how this works. I think some of the people are like unkillable in this map, so we'll find out, won't we? Oh, so we got 4 different wings, right? I don't know if there's any difficulty differences. Maybe some are like, oh, there we go. Whoever that wasn't terribly strong. Let's see who this is. Oh, these people are no match for Elon yet. I think there's 50 in each wing. They say this is a certain death sentence. You cannot... This is unfinishable for most players. Oh my. Let's see. I'm going to go as far as I can in each wing, and just to see how it works. Oh, there's a guy left here. Oh, there we go. My General's War Cry is not activating. We kind of rely on that. Did they disable it for this map because it's too unfair? They're supposed to be jumping at these players and stunning them. Okay, that guy wasn't bad. I don't know what this is. Oh. Okay, this is... Don't do this Grandmasters map, by the way. Like, you can... It's just fun to see it. I do have ignore physical reduction, which might be... the problem is I think there's some 100% chance to block kind of builds here. So everything I do is going to get blocked. I don't know how long. I think there's 50 Grandmasters in each wing like this. Oh, we got something. Okay. That wasn't too bad. Maybe that was not... Maybe they nerfed it a bit. I don't know. Okay, I see. Maybe I took the easy wing too. Actually, you know what? I'm going to do the one on the side of the door just in case going through the door unlocks the more difficult ones. I want to kill them before they see me. That's sort of my objective here. Not too bad. What is this nonsense? I do want to show something afterwards because I do expect to get stuck at some point. Because I did read this is pretty much... There's a guy named Dirk you got to watch for. And he's unkillable. Oh my. And there's my clone. That was a marauder trying to stun me. Well, this guy will get one shot. Maybe I just made the most OP character ever. There we go. No deaths yet. I thought this would be guaranteed deaths, but I think once you get to some near the end, they're kind of unstoppable. What does this guy do? Oh my. Okay, this might be one of the tougher ones. That was a nasty attack. There's a bunch of them here. How come they're all together? You'd think you'd put the tough players on separate zones. There we go. Should kill them before they can even attack me. I haven't had to activate a banner yet. Nothing. I thought this was going to be tougher, but I think it scales up. They do say this is the rippiest map there is. It's do not do this on hardcore. Okay. Okay, we're going to put up something here. We're going to put up our suppression shield here. And okay, we got through that wing. Oh, some items. Let's do this one. This is not fair. They must be scaled differently too, because why it would be unfair to do like 1 versus 5. How would you be able to realistically? I suspect that the ignore physical damage reduction skills I have are helping me here. Because a lot of these are getting just one shot. There we go. Oh, it's an actual item. Someone dropped something of use. Okay, this guy's... I haven't come across someone I haven't... Maybe they did nerf it. I really don't know. This is for you to assess. Do you want to do this map? Is this something... Oh my. I gotta put a bit of extra evasion on. Yeah, no one... I think the deadly ones are coming up soon. I'm gonna hit them quick before they hit me. I was expecting a complete white fest, but that will probably still happen. So stay tuned if you want to... Oh, there we go. There, I'm gonna die here. This guy looks very bad. Whirlwind, I haven't seen that in a while. I thought about doing Whirlwind, but... Okay, Elon's just too tough for these noobs. Oh, no, there we go, I die. There we go, I get all cocky. Who killed me? This is the one I heard about, GG Noobs. Yes, I actually read about that one. Okay, we'll see. We'll see if we can get through GG Noobs 3. I think most people can't. Okay, so what I did before the show, I read up about this, is that there's some people here who have like 100% chance to block. If you get a 20 quality buckler, and the way you can do this is go to like the Act 1 vendor. It has a bit of dex on it. Don't forget, when you use armor or scraps, less of them are required to get 20 quality. So I used 2 armor or scraps. I went to a vendor and I bought this puncture gem. I combine them here and look what I get. Block chance reduction support. So I'm going to put that in my bag here. And if I come across someone that I cannot hit, I'm going to see if this helps me. The thing is, I don't have a green slot. That's the problem. Maybe I could put it with Leap Slam. We'll see. You can't buy that at the vendor. I believe it's only for this map. Okay, so let's go in again and see if we can get through GG Noobs 3. Actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go to the other wing first, just because I can see a complete wipe fest happening here. And I want to at least get all the easy content done. Okay, we'll go to each wing and do what we can first. We got some sort of bleed on us. Oh my, that's a... I don't know what that was. Okay, this one's nasty. Okay, oh, no, there's some guys here. There's some guys here. Not quite done. Okay, let's do the last wing here, or the last half of the wing, and see if we can beat some of these legendary characters. To see if Elon's legendary. Wow, that is crazy. Level 100. Let's see if we can even hit him. I think this guy has a 100% chance to avoid getting hit. Oh no. Oh, let's get him here. No, this guy's unkillable. I can't even hit him. I'm gonna put in this gem here to see if I can get through the block a chance here, okay? And just hit him, get through the shield or something, okay? And I don't think I can, but I'm gonna have to leap slam to do it because I can't put that on my regular attack. So it's just gonna be, I'm just gonna leap slam him to death, hopefully. So let's see if that works. I don't know. Whoa, did that work? Was that all I needed? Was that one gem? Wow, I can't believe that. Okay, we'll leave that in. There's a tip to maybe, let's see who else we can do that to. Oh, there's some other people here. Oh my god. And can we leap on them? Well, I killed someone. Oh, there we go. I killed another. So I'm just leaping on them and stunning them, I guess. Well, too bad for you. This guy's getting it too. There we go. Oh. Got another one. Wow. Was that gem the mat? All I need is a 5% chance. So this has to be bad here. Whatever's here has to be... Oh, okay, I didn't even... Oh, hey, I'm just trying to portal out. That's not fair. Who is that? Oh, I got something on him. He's still bleeding. I wanted to make a portal. So we got through GG Noobs 3. I guess I'm not a noob. I guess that's what it means, right? Okay, let's see if we can stomp one of these guys. Oh, wow, that guy's fast. Yeah, I can't even... I have to... I have a feeling if I hit them, I can one-shot them, but... this is it, last try. Okay. Nope, that's it. That's as far as we got. We got through GG Noobs 3 and some other guy here. I don't know what this is. This guy here got me too fast. I didn't have enough lives. Like, if I was to put a specialized weapon here and... Or, you know, I could swap. I just don't care enough, right? Like, I could possibly put this reduced, you know, block reduction support. I could have swapped this into some body armor here. I just don't think it's worth the effort. Like, you could make a special build, but yeah, we got through some tough guys in this map. Anyways, that's it. Maybe they'll make a future map like this. I think it's a really cool idea to immortalize a character. When Elon's done the season, maybe Elon will get immortalized. He's not unhittable, but he is pretty tough. He has a lot of other layers of defense. Yeah, so good luck with your crafting. Get some good rolls with your Chaos Orbs. Get some better luck at the crafting station than I did. I just had no luck. So I hope you enjoyed the episode, and I'll see you next week.